transition back. Then when they go to executive session, you just slide
Yeah.
that one up.
Let me know when you're ready.
Miss Alice, did that email ever come through? It did come through twice.
It's warm in here.
I brought my sweater. I brought it to be warm in here.
Really? I'm like, it's warm.
Look at Pam.
But she ain't doing nothing.
She ain't doing nothing.
Look at her. She ain't doing nothing.
5:45. Okay, 5:45.
Adriana.
Oh. I don't see nobody. And then Roscoe, and then I don't know if that's right. She might not make it.
Okay, I got it also. The one that I sent you. I got you. No, the first time I sent it to the old much, and then I sent it to you again. I thought it was- yeah.
Yeah, she left. She left. Jamie has her meat. Jamie has her meat. But you're here. I couldn't win in your pace. You heard me?
Turn the floor. Stop. Roger, you want to kick it off? Hello, everyone. I want to introduce a group of guys. They work with TWDB with water and sewer funds. Westwood.
I appreciate y'all letting us come up here and talk to you today. My name's Brian O'Neill. I'm with a company called Westwood Professional Services, and we're a national engineering firm. We're about 1,600 people. We've got about 600 here in Texas. And our roles in the company, I'll introduce all of us. My job is, for our company, we have a division of our company that is focused on public infrastructure. And I run that division for the state of Texas. Chris Chaw is with me here. Chris is an engineer. He's actually up in North Texas, but he is our expert as it relates to the Water Development Board, the funding, both the getting the funding, using the funding, managing the programs, managing the finances of utilizing that money to try to hold down your cost, your debt service as much as possible. We also have Jim Roberts with us here. He is our water and wastewater expert in our Houston office down here. So a lot of the stuff that we'll be doing, Jim has already been coordinating with Roger on a few things in preparation for this meeting. So I'm going to kick off and talk a little bit about what these programs are. And then I'm going to turn it over to John and let him talk about how the process works, and then just open up for questions if that works for everybody. So we were out at TML last fall, and we ran into Roger and came out here and saw him, I guess about a month and a half ago or something like that, and asked him, what are your biggest needs? And he said, water and sewer. Got all kinds of, aging infrastructure, which is not uncommon in the state. Right now, it's a very good time for cities to be in that mode because we all know they had the massive budget surplus last year in the Infrastructure Act. There's a lot of money that's been pumped into the Water Development Board for cities like Cleveland. So we talked to him about the Clean Water and Drinking Water SRF. And he said, hey, I want you to come back. And he had Scott and Pamela in the room. And we kind of went over that. And that was the last meeting we were here and said, hey, we want you to come talk to council. Clean Water SRF, think of sewer. Drinking Water SRF, think of obviously drinking water. The programs that are out there, there is a lot of opportunity within those programs. And I know Jim has been working with Roger, kind of pulled a list of high priority projects, deficiencies in your system. I think there's 12 water projects and 5 sewer projects that bubble to the top of the surface, that all appear to be eligible for this kind of funding. The funding that comes through these programs, there's a lot of different ways that it actually comes into use for the city. There's a lot of flexibility, and I'm going to hit the high points, and he's going to correct everything I say, because like I said, he's the expert, he's here for that. When you go after this, the process is you do what's called an abridged application. And the contracts that we have in the council meeting, that's what those are. The abridged application is a truncated application to the Water Development Board, and it gives things like the city with projects, the cost, how much you're looking to pull down from the state or from the Water Development Board, and a lot of demographic information and things like that. That process needs to happen relatively quickly. They're due on March 1st. Once the state gets all those March 1st, they score all those out and they rank them, and they say, everybody above this line, wherever they strike that line, you're being awarded. That usually will happen late summer-ish. And at that point in time, you have to do a larger application, but also at that time, you know what your funding looks like. There are opportunities within this program. Pretty much for everybody, they do cut rate on bond rates. So basically half the state rate or something, or 60% of the state rate, whatever they give you at their AAA rating. There's also, depending on the cities, which we believe there's some opportunity here in Cleveland, is a principal forgiveness. Think of that as grant. So that you're really leveraging your money up as you go in and do this. And there's a lot of flexibility in the program. If you could take down, I'm just making numbers up because we have no numbers right now, but say, you say, we're going to take $10 million, and you go say, we decided we only want to do half of it, no harm, no foul. You don't take it down. You get through your program, you say you do all of the projects, you have your $10 million, but you finish your parade, you don't take down the debt service on the other two. So there's a lot of flexibility in the way they do this. They encumber the funds when you're awarded, and they allow you to use those over time. So with that, I want to turn it over to Cha and let him talk through, like I said, some of the process and the timeline and some of the opportunities within the program.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Mayor, Council, thank you for having us. I've left y'all these handouts. They're brief. They're just project sheets. The big thing on the front, too, are the benefits and terms. No maximum eligible amount. Basically, you can go sky's the limit. This is a program where they'll do $100 million projects for lakes or wastewater treatment plants, water treatment plants. And the second one, principal forgiveness, especially for qualifying disadvantaged, small, rural disadvantaged, and green projects. And that's true for both of them. The third page kind of goes through their program requirements. There's other programs that don't have the federal money, but this program, I think y'all will qualify for quite a bit of principal forgiveness. They base it off the AM average household median income, and that threshold we did a quick check, pretty comfortably under for this year, this census year, 2023. So on the fourth page, Brian said there's the quick kind of funding cycle. They ask for projects, we submit them, and then they score them. And it talks about an IUP. All the IUP is it's the intended use plan. It's a list of projects, and you have to be on that list to get funded. So this would be to get on that list. Once you're on that list, they go through and they start asking, and if you want to do the project, they'll ask you, and you're up, you'll take down the funding. If you say, no, I'm not interested, they strike and they move to the next person. I've had people that were 200 down on the list. I thought maybe 3 or 4 years later, they got called 2 years later. So the benefit of getting in now is if you're in, you didn't make it the next year, or say people above you drop out, they will call you throughout the year to qualify your projects. So it goes through, the IUP is approved, then they invite people for financing, and then you close on your loan. So I did on the last one, it's kind of there's a lot of kind of acronyms and stuff. I made it, kind of tried to put a time frame saying if this was a successful application on the first cycle, this is what it would look like. You submit by March 1st, you hear back about the list, summer to fall, and then you get invited fall and winter of 2024. You do the full application. That is a full vetting process. It's a book that looks about this big. It goes through all of the demographics, your finances. You'll have to have bond counsel. You'll have to have your FA involved. Everyone gets involved with that process. And then they review and they give you the loan, and that looks like summer and fall of 2025. So if you start the process now, the soonest you can get the money is 2025. I think talking to y'all, though, it lines up pretty good with where your bond capacity starts to become available. So you would know you could either go bonds, or you could use that debt service, what's in your INS rate today, to cover your low interest loans as part of these programs. Now, all the money you get, you put up no money, it all comes in the form of low interest loans and principal forgiveness. So there's no money up front per se. And it's a multi-year commitment, yeah. Like Brian said, the best way to do this, you can either do it as one big mega project, right? Like I have a $100 million wastewater treatment plant, or you can do it as a program. I want to fix all of the water lines in this part of town. We've done that before, and it gives you the flexibility if you leave it open like that. As long as the water line in that part of town, you fix it. And some of the weird things, you wouldn't consider fixing a water line green. They actually consider that green if the line's old and leaks and it's broken. You're wasting water. So water conservation is big. Fixing that line actually qualifies you for green. So we think between where y'all score at on the AMHI and some of the projects here we can consider under green, score you very favorable in what the Water Development Board is trying to do. They're basically a clearinghouse for projects. Their goal is to fund water and sewer projects for the state of Texas. So the program's kind of built for smaller rural communities in a way, or mega projects that, the bonding or you taking advantage of a low interest loan makes a lot of sense over a 20, 30 year period. Is there anything else we want to go over?
I can get up.
That really is it, or we can open up for questions if that's going to be easier. Maybe that there are questions and we can just.
Well, one of the things that we had talked about is going the program route. We've got 12, 16 different projects that we've listed. And so because of our bonding rate and because of our, currently we have a bond that's going to be coming off the books in about 2025, 26. And so this will line up with that. When that capacity becomes available, then we can take on that first phase. And as our bonding capacity becomes available, we can take on different projects. So we would not do the one project for $20 million. We would take on this section, we will replace all the water and sewer lines in this part of the city with this first one. And then maybe it's replacing, or upgrading lift stations or expanding the water plant or something in this phase. And then we're going to do these water and sewer lines in this section of town and do it as a different phase, which is what allows that. But as long as those projects are approved up front, we can continue to do that going forward. And so, but like he said, we're going to get bond counsel and everything else to kind of figure out how that's going to work. We cannot afford to do all of that at one time. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do that and line it up with our bonding capacity and our growth. And hopefully, as we continue to grow, and we get further into this, the bonding capacity will grow, and maybe there'll be additional projects quicker.
Correct. It's a multi-year commitment. So if you, like I said, mega project, or you can do it as a program. The recommendation here would be program, and I believe it's about a 10-year commitment. So you can go over 10 years. You can do projects for 10 years. Just better that way too. No one likes all of construction, and it's not feasible for staff to inspect all of construction happening immediately at once. Like that, that would be a disaster. So they understand that too. But they want phased over years.
And the phasing helps y'all from a financial perspective, like Scott was saying. You say you had a $10 million program, you just do $1 million a year. Well, you're only dealing with debt service on the first million, not the 10 million, so you don't take down the 10 million. That helps you keep your debt service down over time as well. And once again, there is a lot of flexibility within the program as far as being able to, you go through and you say, these are our projects. The abridged application kind of says, we want to kind of do these projects. The book he was talking about, we'll define them. As long as we're doing something defined in the book.
And once you get the money, there's benefits. You can go back and amend your application to add in different projects. It's a little bit of a process, but once you have that commitment, you can, whatever needs come up, generally, as long as it fits within, or if you can revise it and it doesn't completely blow up your application, you can add different projects that you didn't originally put. So it's kind of better to look at getting a little bit more and then going down versus they won't go up though. And like if you ask for 10 million and then you go, oh, I really need 20, they'll go, please apply again. So it's best to go on the strategy for it is to go high and then start whittle down and not use all of it, or revise your application to add projects to it.
And that's one last point is when we do the abridged application, you will make that application in those numbers, say 20. Whenever they come back and say, we're going to award you, you get revealed what your principal forgiveness is, what the loan is. You'll find out what your exact financial picture is at that point in time. You may say, oh, we didn't get any principal forgiveness pass, or oh, we got 60%. Read all on. But you'll find out what your financial outlook looks like at that point in time. And you can make an informed decision on exactly how to best leverage your money on these type of projects. Yep. Any other questions? Any questions?
Answer my question I was going to ask just right at the end, so.
So, my understanding is, this is not a grant, it's more of a low-interest loan with some forgiveness.
Correct.
Now, when you do the infrastructure, like all the roads, you got to go into those roads, cut them, ditches, replace those infrastructures. Is that money to be used also to repair your roads?
They won't pay for more than 6 feet. So let's say you do a water and sewer line, their trench limit is defined as 6 feet.
6 feet deep?
6 feet wide.
Right.
So there's ways you could get a road, let's say you have a water and sewer line you were both replacing, and they were, they have to be 9 feet apart, but you put them exactly 9 feet apart, your trench width was 6 foot, kind of slid, you could replace there, but they won't go more. If you want it, you could push it to 8 feet if you had a standard detail that required it to be 8 feet. You could show, here's my standard detail that's for construction. It shows an 8-foot trench replacement. The water board will go, okay. But their general standard is 6 feet. Because they go, this money's for water and sewer, not for paving, is what they tell you.
Roger, what's the distance between a water line and a sewer line? What do you got to be separated? 9 feet? Okay. There are other companies like yourself competing for this project, right?
For this project right here,
No,
Just in general, there are other companies that do it, for sure, yes, sir. Yeah, it's really,
you've done this before, how successful?
we've been pretty successful. I've done quite a few applications. Some of them wouldn't be as strong as yours, mainly because they were pretty well-off cities and the benefits weren't great. Everyone that had, we got funded our first time on areas like that we really needed the money, where we could make a strong case. Like here, we can make a stronger case, I feel, than some of our other ones. I was trying to push one way, and they said, well, we don't want to do this project. I was like, this isn't a great project. We'll put in, understand it's not a great, this is a better use. You're scoring your ability to get points for this, and the way you can craft the application, I feel you can get green points. You will definitely get the points for the AMHI.
and the rural designation.
And the rural. All those start to add points to your application just before even the need. You get to describing what the project is. So you start out kind of above the more well-off side, where the AMHIs are higher. That's what I put it.
Thank you.
And the forgiveness could be up to 70%?
You're probably looking at 30 to 70. I want to say 70, and then you go, well,
No, but
we got
it could be up to
40 that got us, but I would say everybody gets 10, and then you're probably looking 30 to 70. If it's, wouldn't it be hard, if you're at 30, I would ask them to try to do better, because you probably want to look, target like a 50 to 70 would be the goal here, to really make it worth doing Buy American and all the requirements you gotta start doing.
So one of the things, the contracts that we provided you, I want to be clear on something with that. We have an expert we work with. This guy's a former employee of the Water Development Board. Not this program, he's written the guidelines and the rules for other programs. Basically, the contracts for us are a pass-through. We're not keeping anything out of that. We're working with y'all, we're gonna have skin in the game with you. The reason for him is that's all he does, is this applicant, he helps cities. And we bounced this off of him and said, hey, look at the city, look at these projects. And he's excited, oh yeah, they're gonna score good. That's his first flush, just looking at on the surface, he goes, yeah, this one ought to be a good one. Because what he wants to have a successful abridged application to move to the bigger application that guarantees the funding and outlines everything, the big vetting book. So that's the, when we asked our expert that worked at the board, he saw the same thing we did. Y'all score very well. You just got to know how to check the boxes.
He was actually, he doesn't usually get excited. He's pretty excited. He started going through where he can get points.
So how much money up front are we talking about?
We do two applications. One's for clean water, sewer. One's for drinking water. We gave you contracts for $5,000 each, and that's the pass-through for him. Like I said, from an engineering perspective, we're engineers. We want to design stuff later. So we want to see the project created. For him, what he does is that's his business line. So that's the reason for pass-through.
Recommend using him like I said. I offered to do it for free, but I just don't know the point system as well as he does. So you're getting like a C player. You're getting what you pay for, basically. I don't know how to craft it as well to get as many points where he's going to go. Oh, here's your project. Here's how we go after green. Here's how we go after these points to score well. I can get yours in, but it's not. Afterwards, I'm familiar with everything and I'm familiar with the whole process, but he's really going to go application. Here's what they're looking for. Here's how we score best. So that's where his value add is.
And the higher that we score, the real forgiveness we're probably going to do.
Correct. So the way it works is they go through each year. They've gotten, I know, like Texas over from the Infrastructure Act for just water got like $1 billion, right? They have to spend that over 5 years. So roughly that's $200 million a year. They take the first $200 million, and then of that they have to do 50% forgiveness, and they don't give it to everybody. So then it's 10, and so that leaves like like 120 million to 200 million a year of forgiveness that has to be done. So then that's when you score up. The higher you are, that money, as the projects on the list get taken down, goes. And so that's kind of how it works. If that makes sense.
And the timing on this is good because that's on top of the state's, the Water Development Board's normal funding. And you remember they put what was about $1 billion into a new program in the Water Development Board because of the funding surplus in the last session. So there you got the normal funding, you got the IHA funding, we had a surplus in Texas, good for us funding. So it's just an opportunity where there's a lot of money sitting there right now.
Substantially more than there has been. It looks like they'll be like that for the next 3 to 5 years.
Which once we're in.
Once you're in, and then once he'll roll it for free. So if you pay him, he'll roll yours. If you don't hit it this first year, you roll in the next one. He'll just go, and he does those on the house. He's like, you already paid me, I'll roll it. So he'll keep rolling your application until you hit. But yeah, I'm hopeful. These sorts of projects and what you're asking for, this is the reason for the Water Development Board existing, to be honest with you.
So on the funding, what are we looking at interest rate wise and what length of time?
So they offer you 20 and 30-year terms. Their rates are published. They were around 3%-ish. It depends on the type of equivalency you use. I would say look between 3 and 3.5%.
Now, is this the state doing this?
This is the state. Yes, sir. They take the state's AAA rating, and then what you'll do is you qualify for rural since you're outside of the an urban center, they'll take that and they cut it in half. So you'd be looking at 1.75 to 2% probably. It'd be a little bit less than the 20-year, a little bit more on the 30-year, but roughly. It's pretty good. They weren't as good as they were when the interest rate, they went negative actually. We'd never seen that before. There, a couple, 2 years ago, we were like, wow, what does this mean? So it's been wild times.
Yeah. Okay, now you give me all the positives and all the reasons why I should. Tell me why I should.
If they don't give you enough, principal forgiveness, some of the stuff, some of these are just going to add a little bit. Like I don't know if you already do Buy American or Buy Domestic for your water. A lot of cities we do, but if you don't, that can add a little bit of the cost of the project. In terms of overall project though, it's usually minimal. The material cost pales in comparison to contractors' labor. Usually labor cost is 60-70% of the bid item, but you do have to do Buy American or Build America, Buy America, and there's some additional paperwork that's involved with that. Also American Iron and Steel, so your fittings on the water line have to be American, and if they're not, if you hadn't done them in the past, it's just going to cost a little bit more. If you already are domestic only, you already do Buy American, it's really not that much difference other than paperwork. And same thing with the wage rates. It's just paperwork for a contractor. For the city side, it's not as, it's maybe a little bit more work for your FA.
So when you get into the administration of this and start building things, building water lines, treatment plants, pump stations, whatever you're building, there's just provisions in your spec book and things like that that complicate it a little bit. It's stuff we're doing everywhere else, so we know what the provisions need to be to go in there. Looking at shop drawings, making sure, because we've been bit by this, just like everybody else that's done this. Somebody slips in some Chinese steel, and all of a sudden the Water Development Board's, we're not paying that. You got to rip it out and put in American steel. Just making sure that you're on top of that. So there's a little bit of, nuance to it when you get into the actual construction stuff. But once again, it's once you're used to it, you're used to it.
But if they weren't giving you principal forgiveness, forget all. There's just extra strings that's not even worth it. The freedom you have, flexibility you have, like bond money, CO money's better. But once you include their interest rates and then the principal forgiveness, I think it's a better program.
And one of the
money.
Why you wouldn't do it is if you score what we think you will, the upside way outweighs the downside. If they say, we're just not doing principal forgiveness, sorry, Cleveland, we've got to say, okay, then just like you talked about the other, pass, but somebody else slide out. But
okay, we're going to have to conclude.
Yeah. Thank you.
We do have an agenda item on the regular council meeting.
You could use it during discussion then.
So we can do this discussion.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go right into our monthly council meeting. Okay. We have Chaplain Carl Williamson present here tonight, and he will bring us our invocation. And I'm going to ask Mr. Lowry to do a pledge for both flags.
Now, I used that chaplain title. Thank you guys for taking care of our citizens this week and the challenges. We think it was met very well, so thank you for that. Join me in prayer. Father, I look at my life sometimes, and I realize how blessed I am to live where I live, surrounded by the people I'm surrounded with, and Lord, for the caring attitudes, for the things that come, but I also realize the challenges. So for those who serve us, Father, would you grant them wisdom? Would you give them wise counsel? Or would you be more than just a name that they speak? Would it be someone they would trust? So Lord, in these days, watch over our nation, watch over our state, watch over our city, watch over those who serve. So Lord, tonight we just give you thanks. Thank you, Lord. I live in Cleveland, Texas. So Father, I offer all this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. And let's face the American flag.
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, thank you, Chaplain. That sounds good. Okay, I have a proclamation, and I think we're gonna wait. We're gonna kick that back because young lady's gonna be running late. So we'll just, we'll wait until she gets here, and we'll pick that up a little later. Okay. Proclamation. Okay. Proclamation. Yes, I'll read. Okay. Yes, sir. Chaplain, Pastor Blackwell, I'm going to come up and I need to read you this proclamation. Okay, City of Cleveland proclamation. Whereas, on the 30th day of March in the year of our Lord, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed a proclamation designating Thursday, the 30th day of April, 1863, as the day of national humiliation, fasting, and prayer. And whereas, we the people of Cleveland, Texas, and the local citizens have enjoyed the freedom of speech and religion as a benefit of this historic proclamation, declaring it is the duty of nations as well as men to their own dependence upon overruling power of God to confess their sins and transgressions in humble sorrow, yet with assured hope that genuine repentance will lead to the mercy and pardon, and to recognize the sublime truth announced in the Holy Scriptures and provided by all history, and those nations only are blessed by whose God is the Lord. And whereas the City of Cleveland, Texas, the local citizens recognize that the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, was born February 12, 1809, and now, therefore, I, Danny Lee, by authority vested in me as the mayor of Cleveland, do hereby proclaim Monday, February 12, 2024, as the day of humiliation, fasting, and prayer, to thank God for our nation, for all the freedoms and blessings that we have received. In witness whereof, I hereunder set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Cleveland, Texas, to be affixed this day, the 18th of January, 2024. I sign this proclamation, Mayor Danny Lee. Thank you very much. Thank you for all you do. Keep us all straight up here. Sergeant Shaver here?
I don't see, we got a meeting, I know he's trying to make it.
Okay, we'll just break back to that. Okay. Juanita? Okay. Okay, the city of Cleveland, this certificate is awarded to Juanita Lamont in recognition of her outstanding performance, hard work, and dedication to the city of Cleveland. December 2023, Employee of the Month. Thank you very much. Thank you for all you do for Cleveland.
Of course, at the time, Juanita was our permit tech back in December, but now she has been promoted and is now our deputy city secretary since her.
Okay, we'll move along to item number 7, public comments. Any person with city-related business may speak to the council in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. The city council may not discuss or vote on any matter raised in public comments unless it is specifically on the agenda. To speak during the council meeting, you must be recognized by the presiding officer. Okay? Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Okay, no one on deck today. Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, we'll move along to item number 8, reports from members of council regarding attendance of boards, commissions, social functions, conventions, workshops, ceremonial events, press conferences, candidate boards, and similar events where no formal action was taken in discussion of public business incidental to that event. Okay, we'll start with Mr. Butler.
On our report and rec board meeting, the board approved the area where they would like the skate park to be at, or would say approved, but would consider it in that area, and of course playground equipment that they, and then also wait to see an EDC votes to have the half pipe, or we have to amend it, whatever, the half pipe order, so they got the full skate park brought to over here. That's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Warren? Okay. Mr. Lowry?
And the airport board met this last week, and it was a very good meeting. Everybody was in tune. I think there was 4 council members there. So everybody got to kind of join in and see what, how things were. I didn't bring the list of the things that we approved, but basically we didn't have any kind of disagreements or any kind of involvement. Everything was unanimous through it. One of the items on the list tonight is going to be the fence, and hopefully we'll get that up on the west side of the airport. The fuel is being taken care of. Right now we have avgas, and we will have jet fuel here in a few days. Other than that, everything looks good. We've got some new ideas coming in through the airport, so our airport's going to definitely grow. Our fuel consumption is up. We were making 10 cents on a gallon, now we're making 50 cents, so that's even better. If anybody like to make a donation, just let me know. Other than that, airport board was a great meeting.
Okay, Mr. Terrell?
I have no comments at this time.
Okay. Ms. Powell, you have anything? Okay, I'm going to go over my list of people last. I'd just like to thank all the first responders, staff. This early part of the week, we had a major weather event. And as far as I know, everything went smoothly. I think that the council, our goal was to make it through and where everybody could come out safe. No one was hurt, no one was injured. So I think it was a good thing. I didn't see us on the news or anything, so I guess we did all right. But once again, I just want to thank the first responders, the guys out there on the front lines. Y'all did a tremendous job. And I also want to piggyback off of Mr. Lowry about the airport. If you hadn't went out and visited the Cleveland airport, you're really missing the treat. I mean, I went out and I really got a chance to spend some time out there. And it's really neat, really interesting. And it's so many possibilities, ideas that we got. And we have Dickie out there now. And it's just ride out and visit. And you will really be surprised that we have this type of facility, in Cleveland, Texas. And it's very nice. But that's all I have, Scott. You can go ahead.
All right, Mayor, thank you. I just want to reiterate again and just thank all of our staff for their work during this winter storm. We were definitely blessed. We didn't have any major incidents during the situation, which is good. And so our team was prepared. They're ready to respond when necessary. We were in constant communication with our team throughout the whole time, just making sure that everything was going smoothly and that there wasn't any needs that needed to be addressed or taken care of. And so I appreciate the team that we have and the work that they did to make sure that our citizens and our facilities were taken care of and prepared for and ready and be able to go through the storm. I do also want to recognize and thank our partners in the community. We had Cleveland IC partnered with us and opened up 2 warming centers. One in the Cleveland Middle School here in Cleveland, and also Santa Fe Middle School down south. And then also the Calvary Baptist Church also opened up their facility for a warming shelter as well. And all 3 of them had people that came in to those centers throughout the storm and was able to provide services and opportunities for them. And so it just, again, goes back to the fact that we have to work together, our whole community, and we can do great things if we're working together, and that's a great example of partnership. We've got the county, the school district, the local churches, and the city all working together to make sure that our citizens are taken care of, and we're making it through those kind of situations. So, again, I just want to thank them as well as our staff, but also thank the Calvary Baptist Church and the school district for their work in partnership with us throughout this event. So.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. Or on any other comments, we'll move on to the consent agenda. All consent agenda items are routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member requests an item be removed and considered separately. That'll be item 9 through 16. Is there any item on the consent agenda that you want to pull out and discuss separately?
I'd like to pull out the minutes.
Okay. Okay, any other items? Okay, well.
Okay, it's in the minutes, it's on page 28. The statement there, it says zoning board of adjustments.
There's 2 meetings, Councilmember Terrell, which meeting would it be?
Page 28.
So, of the meeting, which meeting is that?
This would be the council meeting.
Council meeting?
We passed the minutes, Mr. Buckley made the motion about Joshua McGee, Heidi Soames, Maria Donovan, Scott Crawford. Any questions for Mr. Buckley? The second made that motion carried. I want to make a point. This is for alternates only. We already have the board of adjustments set. We were looking for alternates. If I'm wrong in that, someone should know.
Okay, is there any other questions?
That's the only thing I have on the
Okay.
consent agenda.
Okay, with that correction noted,
I'll make the motion to accept the consent agenda items 9 through 16.
okay, I have a motion by Mr. Terrell that we accept the consent agenda minutes. And a second by Mr. Buckley. All those in favor? Okay, none opposed. Okay, motion carries 4-0. Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead on to discussion items number 17. Approval of professional engineering service agreement with Westwood related to drinking water, state revolving fund, a bridge application and preparation.
So Mayor, this is one of the two items, the agreements with Westwood that we discussed there in our workshop. I believe there was a few questions that were still remaining, so I think this would be a good time to address those.
Okay, question I had was, on this page,
Yes, sir.
you've got a block here that says American Iron and Steel requirements. Is that just saying that if you awarded this project, you have to use American Steel?
Yes, sir.
in the project?
Yeah, federal funds typically have a Buy American, Build American clause in it, so that's just saying I'm not Buy American steel.
Okay, and on the next block, it says loan origination. I think Mr. Lowry asked you, I think PNB, misunderstood you said part of it was not up front, and then another part later.
He was asking what the loan interest rate was, and it's usually the state rate cut half. Origination fee was
1.75% roughly. So when you do, let's just say you do, every time you take down money, they are going to charge you an origination fee, and that origination fee is around 1.75%. So as you get a loan, say you do, $1 million, you have a $10 million program, you're going to do $1 million every year, every $1 million, they'll charge you an origination fee. It's only 1.75%. $17,500.
Yes, 17.5.
That's rolled though into that's amortized out over the 20 and 30 year period. That's not a fee that you pay up front, it's amortized. You owe nothing up front.
20 years?
Yes, sir. Or 30 years, whichever way you decide. Just the amortization on 30 works.
So if I'm understanding, that's the cost for borrowing the money.
Right. Just like when you do a house or something like that, they have a origination fee when you're closing documents. It's similar.
Those are the two questions I had on this.
Any other questions on number 17? Okay. Okay, do I hear a motion for approval of professional services agreement with Westwood related to drinking water state revolving fund application preparation?
We do need new infrastructure.
Okay.
Make a motion on item 17 and 18 the same, correct?
One for clean water.
Clean water, one for possible water.
Okay,
There's
so
two different agreements, one's for drinking, this one's for drinking.
So
I
I
can't
can
do
do
that.
those separately, can I do 17 and 18 together?
Or we don't separately.
I recommend, they're two separate contracts, I recommend doing them separately, just
Okay,
so that it
that's
shows
fine.
each one was, some of these grants have requirements.
That's fine. Okay, just one legal, especially on this, when we talk about billions, okay. Okay, I have a motion, by Mr. Butler. Second. Okay, I have a second by Mr. Warren.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, sir.
While we're on the table? So the five that they talked about are 5,000 for doing everything. That's for both of those, or is it 5?
There's 5,000 each for each
Okay,
application.
so it's all together. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for that question, Bruce. So there is a possibility we pay the fine and not get it, therefore we've lost $5,000, right?
Yes, sir. There is a probable possibility of that. Based on all the data we have, it's very low, but yes, there is a possibility.
Well, the Texans are playing in the surf.
Your odds are better here.
You eventually would get funding. Almost everybody does unless you say, I don't need the funds. So it's just a matter of timing. That you could be not successful your first year, but usually second or third, everyone gets the funds. It's just the way it works.
And that's what he was saying, the guy we're talking about with this. If you were not, say you do both of these, and one of them gets funded this year, you're moving forward, the other one doesn't. He will reapply next year at no cost, because he's already got it done, you already paid, he's like, so he'll keep it in the system until we come to the top.
Okay, I got a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 4-0. I really think this will be a start, on our infrastructure. It's something that we need very badly. It's low risk, high reward, and I just want to thank you guys. I mean, this will be a statement that we can make to the taxpayers. We understand the situation we're in, money-wise, and we're trying everything that we can to, get this for Cleveland. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 18, approval of professional engineering service agreements with Westwood related to the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, a bridge application and preparation.
Make a motion to approve item 18.
Okay, I got a motion on the table. Mr. Bucket? Got Mr. Warren? Second. Okay, I got a motion and a second. You got any other question or comment or remark on it? Okay, no other question or statement. All those in favor of approving? Okay, motion carries 4-0. Once again, hey, thanks guys. We're giving it our best shot, so thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Okay. Item number 19, I got Mr. Vicky Harwood.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and staff. So back in December, we went out for a bid for the fence for the west side of the airport. That concluded January 10th. Came in here, we had a meeting, we compiled all of the quotes. In front of you is a list of everyone that submitted a quote, and they ranged from $14.45 linear feet all the way up to $40 per linear feet. I recommend that we go with the lowest bidder, National Fence Company, for a total of $85,255. I did call their insurance, their certificate of liability. They are good, and it is valid until July of next year, or this year. Also, I did check with their references, and they did come highly recommended. Cleveland ISD uses them and plans on using them again. Klein ISD and Aldine ISD uses them as well. They're really responsive. Cleveland, Mr. Brian Brooks over there said anytime he needs them, they're really quick to respond. Someone crashed their gate, I guess, not too long ago, and they came right out and fixed it and repaired it. So, if you got any questions, try to answer it the best I can here.
Can you explain what part this is part of the grant, is it not?
It will be.
So the city will not have to full $85,000. Can you tell us the breakdown?
So the rent pays 90/10. So if it's $85,255, we'll pay 90% of that, or the rent will pay 90% of that, and we'll pay the 10%.
Okay, that's 5,900 feet long.
5,900 feet long, along the west side.
It goes all the way down the west side, but it does not go to the end of our property.
No, it only goes down to the end of the runway. So if you look, it'll go down,
There's a little dogleg.
yes, it'll go 45. It does. And then it dog legs, and where the runway ends, is where the dog leg ends right here, is where it'll stop at. And then future projects will continue on around.
I'll make a motion, we accept the contract's bid for the fence.
Okay, I second. Okay, I got a motion on the table, by Mr. Terrell, and a second by Mr. Lowry.
Included in my motion, that's National Fence Company.
Yes, sir. National Fence Company. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, I have a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor of number 19? Okay, motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Hey, Dickie, thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing out there, man. It's beautiful. Like I say, I tell people all the time, go and check out the airport. Take your small kids out there, and the planes are constantly landing and taking off. It'll be you got 5 or 6 kids that you keep, and it'll be a good way to just take them and let them play and watch the planes take off. And I think we're in the process of putting the pavilion out there also. Great.
Moving forward.
Thank you, sir. Okay, item number 20, approval of joint agreement for public infrastructure with Hart Homes. Mr. Swagger.
Okay, this is an agenda item that we've been working on for quite a while. We've been working with Hart Homes, who is constructing 7 homes off of Jefferson Street. And so this is an agreement before us that basically works within our ordinance that basically states that they will pay us $65,000 to do the work, and then Roger and his team will install and construct the water line that they're needing to service those 7 homes. This also will contract with Law Engineering to provide a survey and the design for the water line. And of course, once that is done, then we will, of course, order the equipment and then install the equipment on our time. So we have done an estimate, and that's where the $65,000 comes from. That's includes all of our labor, all of our, which is at an overtime rate, because this will be done after hours and on weekends, because the public works guys are already full at their jobs and with their responsibilities are already in the week, so this will be after hours that this work has to be done. But this is a good project for the city. It's one of these areas, infill areas that we're needing water and sewer to be added, and as you can see, it's a major burden for the developers developing those areas, and that's kind of the reason why we haven't had a whole lot of development there, and this is a partnership that we were able to provide with them. And so once you agree to this agreement, and we collect the $65,000 from Hart Homes, then we will move forward with this project.
Does this include, this is just the ends of the structure? Are they going to be doing sidewalks?
No.
No, sir.
So they're submitted a plan, site plan, and yet everywhere else we got sidewalks, and they're not showing sidewalks?
No, sir. There's no sidewalks there.
The other homes in the area have sidewalks.
I will double and triple check, but I don't believe that there's sidewalks there.
That would be part of this infrastructure, I understand that, but we should not be letting anybody build our city without doing this sidewalk in our specifications.
Do you know that any of them are required for planning and sidewalks be
I
installed?
just was writing mainly on.
No, ma'am.
They can't force it.
Yeah, they have the driveway, but there's no sidewalks, and it's not a requirement within the ordinance. Mhm.
the map in the packet, the exhibit, and then have sidewalks. But we can definitely double check on that. There's no sidewalks on that map.
Not in Glen Park.
No.
Well, you can't say Glen Park, they got houses in the park, it doesn't decide.
Not in, yeah.
But we're moving forward, this is 2024.
Yes, sir.
And that is, I mean, that's something that we could definitely look at adding to
Yeah.
our building standards in the future. If that's something that the council would like, and there's ordinances that we need to.
Review and
to
just,
review and
yeah.
amend in our building code, so that's something that could definitely be considered at a later date to require sidewalks to be in all residential properties.
We have a motion or we wait for a motion?
Okay, do I have a motion on that?
I make a motion that we approve the joint agreement of public infrastructure with Hart Homes.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Lowry, I have a second by Mr. Buckley. Do I have any more questions or comments? Okay, no other questions? All those in favor? All those, motion carries 4-0. Once again, I think that's a good thing, that whole area, the building homes, and that's a good thing for Cleveland. Going forward, let's just keep it going. Okay, we're gonna move along to item number 21, approval of an ordinance recognizing the adoption of a master fee schedule for fees related to various fees imposed by the city.
Good evening. This is just an amendment to the master fee schedule that was approved in October of last year. The only changes are highlighted on the attached schedule. We added some fees under development services that were not included in the original master fee schedule. And under utilities, we would like to change the reconnect fee to read non-pay fee. We have with the utilities, the reason for that request is we have about 100 accounts that are turned off each month. And as Public Works goes out, we have customers coming in to pay, and they're questioning why they're paying a reconnect fee if their water hasn't been turned off yet. But we do have to do process all of those, and so we would like it to read non-pay, a fee for non-pay instead of a reconnect fee.
And just for clarification, it does say ordinance, but technically it is a resolution. But we're good. And actually, I will mention one other thing. For the next month's agenda, we'll be making multiple amendments within our code of ordinances, because effort throughout our code of ordinances, it says things like, well, the fee for this is X number of dollars, the fee for that is X number of dollars. And we're going to clean all that up to eliminate that wording. So if you see next month, it's really what I would call housekeeping. It's a housekeeping type ordinance.
We'll basically get rid of all the previous ordinances and direct them to the master fee schedule, because we want all of our fees in one location instead of various ordinances.
Under this master fee ordinance, I'm assuming there's room for us to take a particular item in here and maybe raise it, lower it, or add anything to it.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, it makes it easier whenever we're adjusting fees. If we want to change a water rate and change the cost of a permit, we can do it all in one item instead of having to amend multiple ordinances.
So on this page where it's got the hang-around fee, that's where those are the fees as of today, right?
Yes, sir, those were approved in October. We did not adjust those. We implemented the master fee schedule. They were the existing fees.
Okay, if not, can I get a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the master fee schedule for fees related to various fees imposed by the city.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Lowry, second by Mr. Ward. Any other questions? Okay, no other questions? All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 4-0. Item number 22, ordinance to amend EDC budget for skate park.
We approved the EDC budget in September, and it was actually approved with the unallocated revenue equal to $93,612. We have, so that money was money that they're expected to bring in this year, but it was not allocated to any specific line items. And in their December meeting, the Skate Park Coalition came in, asked to have a half pipe. If EDC would purchase the half pipe, the city already purchased the first half of the materials needed for the skate park, and they actually approved $12,600. But when we looked at it, it was actually $12,400 that still needed. So what they're recommending is to utilize part of the $93,000 to purchase the half pipe. So it will increase their budget, but it will not increase the general fund. If you'll notice on the budget amendment, there is a transfer out of EDC and into general fund, and that is so that the half pipe, the purchase of the half pipe will be under cemetery and parks, so that that can be part of the capital improvements for the park.
But it's coming out of the EDC budget.
Yes, on the Exhibit A, on Exhibit A dispatch, it shows that it's coming as a transfer out of EDC into general fund. And then the,
Okay, but which, I'm looking down here,
which one?
is it under business and city and Senator, is it capital outlay?
It transfers out. The EDC has a line item that transfers out. And as it transfers out of EDC and it transfers into the city, and then the expense will be recorded under parks and cemetery.
He's looking at the financial report.
The only thing that you're saying is coming out of the general fund?
No, this is coming out of EDC. Which report are you?
Well, EDC has a general fund also, right? I'm sitting here looking at the EDC page, and we agree, I think EDC's are agreed with paying this. So now it's being paid, or is it coming out?
It's not on here because that report only has the line items that actually have activity. It was not budgeted, so it does not show up on that report. It will show, if this is approved, then when I do the report for January, it will be shown on that report. But because it was not part of their budget in November, that report is for November, you won't see it on there. This is an amendment to add it.
They're utilizing unallocated funds
Let me, on here, you
to
see
pay
that
for
on
this.
here,
And so,
the current budget, the total revenue is $850. That's what, yes, sir. So it'll be another line here, yes, sir. This is only lines that have an existing budget or activity.
Okay, I understand that, I just think it should come out of one of these.
So the rest of the money is coming out of the
It has to be
97,000?
done, it has to be done as it transfers out, because the asset is, you record an asset under the capital projects, the auditors reclass it to an asset that the city owns, because even though we're making that purchase, it is an expense, we will have an asset for that value. So it has to be recorded under parks instead of EDC. So it's a transfer out of EDC, a transfer into general fund, and then the expense will be in cemetery parks.
Okay.
The other money that you're talking about, the 97,000?
$93,612.
Okay, are we gonna use the 12,400 with that to put the?
We'll subtract it from the 93,612.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve item number 22.
okay, I have a motion by Mr. Buckley,
Second.
second by Mr. Warren. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, motion carries 4-0. Okay, item number 23, skate park location designation.
Mayor and council on this one, this is a project that's been in the works for some time now. It's been working through Parks and Recreation Department to actually designate and allocate an area of the park for a skate park, working with the coalition and so forth. And so when we initially, you pull up the map, the map, when we actually designated an area in Campbell Park, we had no idea what we were going to do, and that was an area that they could designate and utilize, and had some concrete that they could use for skate park. Now that we have been able to come to purchase this used skate park, I say used, but it's never actually been used. The city in the Austin area bought the project before they actually installed it. They decided that they want to do a concrete skate park and build a concrete skate park instead, and then sold these ramps to this company, and this company's been trying to sell these ramps for some time now. But now that we've got these ramps, which is great, because this park would probably, if we were to buy this park brand new, would probably be somewhere $300,000 to $500,000 to build a park like this. We're able to get it for $25,000, these ramps. And so, but the ramps in this kind of category, you can see in your packet kind of the layout and previous agenda item of the different ramps that we have. It really needs about 5,000 square feet to make that park. We don't have 5,000 square feet in the current designated area. And so we met with John Musa, who's kind of the president of the Skate Park Coalition, and he met with his group. We talked about, what exactly do we want to do now that we have these ramps? Do you want to keep these ramps together and make a really nice regional skate park? Would you like to maybe divide them up into two and maybe have two different skate spots throughout the town? What exactly do y'all want to do now that we've got this resource? And they have unanimously said that they want a regional skate park, because this would be a draw from all over this area. You can get people coming and doing day trips from the Woodlands and Huntsville and Conroe and all these areas, because this is a different ramp setup than what they have in different cities. So this would be someplace unique. So they would come here and spend the day, which then means that we are going to be able to bring some economic development. We've got some revenue coming in town, because now these kids are spending the day here. And I say kids, it's also adults that skate, and they're spending the day here. They're going to our restaurants to eat while they're here. They're buying gas and shopping and so forth while they're here. But it also is at the location that they want, which is Campbell Park, because of its proximity and easy access to both the middle school and the high school, which the majority of your skaters are going to be the middle school and high school students. And so this is easy access for them, and it's going to be a really nice facility. So we looked at this area west of the current pavilion, and we went to the Parks Board and talked to them about this. The Parks Board is recommending this area to be the area of the skate park. And so you can kind of see, and that kind of gives you an idea of what roughly 5,000 square feet would look like. It may not be this exact location, but we're just saying this west side of the pavilion, we would probably put some small fence or some kind of divider, barrier in between the pavilion and the skate park itself. Probably also do some landscaping in between just to create that buffer, to provide some safety. You don't want a loose skateboard flying and hit somebody in the pavilion or something. But you also want to be able to utilize that pavilion for the skateboarders to be able to utilize that as a place to rest and to hang out. It also serves the current splash pad that's out there, and so you're basically getting dual purpose for that pavilion. Easy access from the parking lot to this location. Also with these ramps and the half pipe and everything, it's going to be visually appealing, and so you'll be able to see this and be an attraction from the parking lot. And so Roger and Cody and I have met with some vendors who will continue to look at different options for this, but we took this to the Parks Board. This is where they would like to designate it at this time and kind of move the destination. Now, They would like to keep the current designation where we currently sit now until we can build this facility. So tonight you approved the EDC funds to buy the last remaining ramp, which is the half-pipe. There's still going to be probably $40,000 to $50,000, roughly is what we're estimating, to actually build this skate park. And so those are additional funds that are going to have to be raised. EDC did say once we got some numbers to bring it back to them, they may be able to do something, but the skate park coalition is continuing to raise funds. The city still has a majority of our $25,000 that we raised or that we allocated for matching funds. So this is a project, it's still in the works. We have the ramps. But in the meantime, we're going to look at putting some of the ramps that we have, not the half pipe because it's too big, but some of these smaller ramps and some of the smaller features in the current location, just so the kids have something to utilize until the additional funds can be raised and until we can build the skate park. Once that gets completely completed, then we would move that area and then open back to the other destination. So that's kind of the idea. Again, this comes as a recommendation from the Parks Board. And if you have any hard, difficult questions, Roger's here to answer those as well.
Roger, I have a question. I don't know anything about skating, but is there like a limited number of people out there? Is somebody going to regulate, or are they just going to be people running over one another? How does that work?
I know they normally skate, they regulate themselves. I mean, in that area, they would be more mindful of not hurting each other, but I don't exactly know that number as far as how many people go on there and skate. They normally regulate themselves so they won't get hurt.
When you get too many people in there, you can't really do that with features. You gotta have that, the ability to, that's where you have a pavilion, they can rest and take turns, regulate
I talked to a
themselves.
couple guys, Jackson Box last week, and because I saw them skating across from Smokies, which was at the tennis place right there, and they were excited that I mentioned it to them, and they were excited about it. They said it would be a nice place to actually have it be in one spot, versus having two different locations. That way you can have tournaments or different events at this one location.
And one of the things that we worked with John Busa on is the square footage, because the ramps can be put on a 3,000 square foot, but they rarely recommend a 5,000 square foot for this to have a proper spacing. And then based on our population and based on our skating and all, the boosters came up with this based on the skating statistics. It's saying that we probably need for Cleveland with our future growth somewhere around 3,000 to 4,000 square feet. But we want to go ahead and build the 5,000 for this, so we have the proper spacing that's going to be needed for the growth of our city and for these ramps to make sure we have that cushion and protection that we need.
I think I know what this is, just for my benefit. Show me where the old pool was. Is that the green area?
This was the pool right here.
That's the splash pad.
Right, that's where the splash pad
The
is right
green is
now.
where the old pool was.
Yeah, right there with, so this is the building.
The long black line separating apart from condos.
This right here? Yes, correct, on the west side.
It's that narrow space that we talked about. Maybe it's covered.
Yes, but yeah, that's the spot.
That's what, about 4,800 square feet?
So, this is, yeah, that's right here, yeah.
4,880. Now, there'll be a set of safety rules to be put up here.
Yeah.
So we currently have a skate park rule sign posted at the location. And so we would relocate that sign. These are signs that you approved last fall when we designated this area. It's also one that we got approval by our city attorney as well as TML to make sure that those rules were in compliance with what we needed to make sure we had all the protection that we need for our liability.
The government requirement for anybody who's skateboarding?
It's basically at your own risk, and that's
Yes,
really what
who's gonna
TML, your insurance carrier,
Exactly.
will tell you to.
The city wouldn't be allowed to do this.
That doesn't mean someone isn't going to sue you, but there's some governmental immunity and some extra protections.
Chief, Chief Bruce, are you gonna monitor that area? Skate?
Certainly we will.
You gonna skate?
No, I'm not saying. Where we at on the, right, we have a motion.
Okay, item number 23, rather. Okay, do I have a motion on the skate park location designation?
I make a motion that we, make that location, designate that location.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Lowry, and I have a second by Mr. Terrell. All those in favor? Okay, the motion carries 4-0. Okay, I see Ms. Lewis is here, and I'm gonna go back to item number 3, give her the proclamation for the cervical cancer awareness month. Just a second. Come on, Mr. Lewis. Okay, first of all, before I present you this proclamation, Sharika has been an advocate for cervical cancer awareness now for quite a long time. And I admire the work that you do. You know, I see you doing a lot of work and bringing awareness to this disease. But we're going to go ahead and give you this proclamation also. But Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, whereas cervical cancer is a disease that strikes over 14,100 American women each year, whereas cervical cancer often affects women in the prime of life, and whereas regular cervical cancer screening tests are effective in detecting disease early when it can be effectively treated, and whereas cervical cancer disproportionately impacts vulnerable communities lacking access to health care and proven life-saving tools, and whereas cervical cancer vaccines are available that together with screening tests provide a formidable and effective means of preventing this disease, and whereas increasing the awareness among patients and healthcare providers alike regarding the best use of these prevention tools is a key component in life-safeguarding women's health. Now therefore, I, Danny Lee, Mayor of the City of Cleveland, do hereby proclaim January as Cervical Health Awareness Month. Okay? And encourage all of our citizens to recognize cervical cancer is preventable, and to encourage, support the women in our lives taking charge of their health and availing themselves of the tests and vaccines that have proven so effective in preventing cervical cancer. We have the means to prevent this disease. It is incumbent on all of us to ensure that we have and will do so. In the city of Cleveland, Texas, proclaim this 18th day of January 2024 as Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. And once again, Sharika, I'm going to present this to you and thank you. Like I said, I'll be watching you. You've been out there advocating this cervical cancer thing for a long time, and I know that you've made a lot of women aware of that. So just keep doing what you're doing, and God bless you.
Thank you.
And this is my cousin also. Chief Broussard? This is for, I'm gonna present this to you, if you can, is it Sergeant Shaver?
Yes, sir, Sergeant John Taylor.
Yeah, this is for Sergeant John Shaver. He's been with the department now for 15 years. Great guy, works hard, takes his job very seriously, and he is appreciated by everyone in Cleveland for the work that he does. And Chief Broussard, I'd just like you to present this to him, and I will try within the next day or so to come by and visit with him and just let him know how much we appreciate his service. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
I'll make sure he gets. Actually, he was meeting with the ATF and FBI tonight on a case at work.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go back to item number 24, approval of an ordinance eliminating the Building and Standards Commission.
Mayor and Council, this is, as Mary Ann referred to earlier, one of those housekeeping items. And so, if you remember last month, we were appointing the boards, and we discussed eliminating the Building and Standards Commission and reallocating those responsibilities to the Planning and Zoning Board. And so, we actually allocated and moved one of the only member that we had for that one and placed them on to the Planning and Zoning Board. And so, this is that housekeeping ordinance, basically removing or eliminating the Building and Standards Commission from our ordinance. So,
Make a motion, we move the Building and Standards Commission.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Buckley,
Second.
second by Mr. Terrell. Any other comments? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, motion carries 4-0. Item number 25, Brazos Transit District Board nomination.
So Mayor and Council, in your package, you have a letter that we received from the Brazos Transit District. Our current area representative, his term is expiring, Mr. Ed Chance. He represents Liberty, Montgomery, and Walker counties on that board. And so, with his term expiring, they are asking for nominations from each of the members on the area to nominate for board positions. And so, if the council would like to nominate, it has to be an elected official in the county. And so, since we are in both Liberty and Montgomery County, you can or nominate an elected official from Liberty or Montgomery County to be placed onto their nomination. Of course, as you know, as we've done this for other boards recently, they will collect all those nominations and they will send us out ballots to be able to vote on who will be our representative on that board. These meetings are in Bryan. They do have meetings every once in a while in other locations, but primarily they are located in Bryan, so they would need to be able to travel to Bryan for those meetings as well. So, if the council would so choose to nominate, you don't have to. If you like to, this is your opportunity to do so.
Was that a motion to this? Mr. Wayne made a motion, please.
Okay, we got motion for Mr. Buckley. I mean, wow. I don't know why I keep doing that. Warwick. Sorry, I don't want it. No motion? No motion, no second? Okay, well, we can just, okay, we'll move on. Okay, Okay. Mr. B. Scott, item number 26, strategic plan, third update.
All right, Mayor and Council, I'm going to come up here to present this, as this is going to be a little while. If you remember, we adopted a strategic plan, and we are now on our third update on that strategic plan. And so, if you will pull out the PowerPoint, please, Danielle. And so, in your update, we're going to just go over our current items of the update. In your package, you have this presentation that will just highlight the individual updates that we have done over the last 3 months. But then you also have the full strategic plan and all the updates that are included on that plan in the back of your packet for you to review as well. When you look at your packet, you'll see basically 4 different colors. So the black text is the original strategic plan text. Then the red was our first update, which was done in July. If you'll move to the next slide, please. See if you can get rid of that.
It's not on the screen, it's only on that one. Ooh. Can I do
No,
that?
slideshow. There you go.
No, I do.
Next one.
It'd be nice to have a screen up there.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. So the first update was done in July of 23. Our second update was in blue, bold blue, which was October of 23. And then today you'll see we've got our updates are in orange, in green. And so also you'll see new is there's going to be a check mark on items that have been completed in the strategic plan so that you can start to see those items that we have successfully completed at this time. And so we're going to move on to the first category in the strategic plan, which is organizational excellence. The facilitator of this section is Angela Valdez. And so unfortunately, due to our meeting having to be rescheduled, she had a prior commitment for tonight, was not going to be here, or not being able to be here tonight, so I will fill in for her and just go through the updates for her tonight. And so again, the first section is organizational excellence. And when you look at the first item there, under 1.11 is establish an employee education program. And so one of the first items that we are looking at that we updated at this time is they do have a meeting scheduled with TML IRP for next month, February 9th. And they will be going over different trainings that they offer to employees. And they're going to go over what each department trainings are required and necessary, as well as what trainings need to be done by all employees across the whole city, so that we can put those onto a program and get those started as we move forward. And so the next item under that is 1.12 is establish a leadership academy. One of the things you'll see under section 1 is utilize the Leadership East Texas program to assign employees to attend. And so we are currently continue to be a partner with Leadership East Texas. Both the city and EDC contribute to that program. The city puts 2 students each year through this program, and we currently have Tiffany Fulrod and Winnie McNair going through that program. They will be graduating in April. And then of course EDC, they choose 2 leaders and upcoming leaders within our local businesses and put them through this program as well. So we have 2 people that EDC has funding going through there as well. So you see the check mark there, and that's something that we are partners with, continue to partner with them as that. And then the next one is our is 1.13, which is hold regular staff meetings. The first one on that is city manager to conduct regular staff meetings with department heads and directors. Well, that's something that we continue to do. I meet each month with each of the department heads individually, and then monthly we meet as a team to go over different items within the city. Section number 2 within that category is basically the city manager and HR will meet regularly or with our entire staff. And so if you'll remember, back in September, we held our first round of departmental meetings where Angela and I went to or met with every department in the city. And so we did our first one, and now we are working to schedule the second one, which will be in the spring. So every 6 months, we will be doing that. The next item, next page on there, again, still with organizational excellence, is 1.2, improve employee well-being. And so 1.23 was establish a monthly employee newsletter. And so we're glad to say that on January 2nd, just a few weeks ago, HR distributed the first employee newsletter to all employees. And I think each of the council got a copy of that as well. And so our HR department, Angela and Felicity, put that together, and that's going to be something that we're going to continue to put out every month. And so that's a great benefit. Again, something that we finally were able to get completed that was part of the strategic plan. Item 1.25, establish an employee of the month program. Again, we have it completed by that. As you were aware, in November, we recognized our first employee of the month that started the program. And then, as we saw tonight, we've continued that program every month since then. We'll continue to recognize our employees of the month. And so this is where all employees get to nominate another coworker for that, and then it goes before them to vote on the employee of the month. So it's a great program and a great recognition for all the hard work that our staff does on a monthly basis. And then under 1.27, establish an employee birthday, anniversary, and awards recognition program. Again, that's something that we've completed, that you've seen. The Facebook page and posts, we recognize our employees. They go out and take pictures of our employees. Some of them are not so always happy to have their picture taken, but we do recognize our employees on their birthdays and anniversaries. And so we completed that. Then you look at 1.3, review and revise employee policies and procedures. Under the third section of that, improve technology for employees. Blue Iron has purchased and the inventory replacement computers that were in fiscal year 2024. So those are purchased and they are here, and they are starting to roll that first round of computers out to the ones that needed the computers. So if you remember, we're trying to budget to have a 3-year rotation where every 3 to 5 years we replace every computer, so we keep our inventory up. We weren't able to do a full funding of that program this year, but we were able to allocate some funds, and so that's the funding that we used, and we're rolling that out at this time. And then under 1.4, establish a vision and mission statement. You've worked through the last several months. We've had workshops going over to develop a vision statement and a mission statement. So we've approved those drafts back in November and December. And our next agenda item, we will actually be able to finally adopt both that vision and mission statement for the city, and then we can move on. Then the next section, 2.0, which is expand economic development opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and cover that as well tonight. So if you look under section 2.1, increase revenues for city operations and services. The first one was secure grant writer, 2.11. And the third category, or third action item underneath that, is to identify and meet with grant writing firms to determine their resources and area of expertise. Again, on this one, we continue to work with GrantWorks, Amoresco, and now, as you're aware tonight, we added Westwood to that mix of trying to get grant funding grant opportunities for the city. And so we continue to do that. Thank you all very much for approving those grants. And again, that's part of our strategic plan. Under 2.12, increased growth through development. The EDC has approved an agreement with Golden Shovel to build a better web page or website to market Cleveland as a whole. So that the EDC has approved that agreement, and we're in the works of trying to finalize that agreement at this time with them. Under 2.14, seek partnership with CISD for development opportunities. Again, EDC approved placing an ad in the CISD magazine to support the school programs and the city and EDC through that magazine. And so the Civic Center had a couple of ads in that magazine, and the EDC, of course, has purchased the back cover of that magazine. So we've got a 50% chance when somebody lays that down looking at it, that the EDC is going to be recognized when they see that magazine, depending on how they lay that magazine down. And then if you go to the next page, again, under economic development, we got section 2.2, increase housing opportunities. 2.21 is seek opportunities for apartments, townhomes, construction. And so action number 1 is identify builders, developers who develop multifamily. And so the council, if you remember recently, at the end of last year, approved a 380 agreement with Pioneer Crossing to construct an apartment complex over behind the police station. And then also we are working with a developer for potential quadruplex development, and that's going to require rezoning. And that would be off of Easy Street. That would require rezoning for high density, so we're working with them to potentially get that done as well. And then 2.3, develop a downtown revitalization program. 2.31 is seek partnerships to revitalize and invest in downtown. Under action item number 1, work with investors purchasing buildings in downtown. The update is EDC has spoken with investors from out of state looking to purchase property in Cleveland. And also EDC has met with realtors and Clint Pendleton about properties that they own and potentially could be developed in that program. And that is updates for section 1 and 2. And now I'm going to turn it over to Roger for section 3, improved infrastructure and development.
Continuing with this specific plan implementation, establishing an impact fee program. Our company engineer has provided the council. The council has approved that, and they are moving forward with the impact fee study and the CIP program. Moving down to the construction of park improvements. So there was some damaged items at the park, the old city park, and for the safety of the citizens, we replaced them, filled the wood areas with safety products so they won't injure themselves. Also met with the vendor for the old city park and county park by having new playground equipment for the kids and young adults. The city and this Cleveland Skate Park Coalition did purchase a half bike, as you already know, we just reiterated it. And the EDC has agreed to pay for the remaining balance of the other half bike, which we should do on the 16th, but since today is the 18th. Anyway, so we're looking forward to designating the skate park area. Now that the old city park was purchased the ramps, probably 3,000 to 5,000 square feet for the park setup. Improvement and expanding of infrastructure, preparing additional facility needs, identifying the source funds. Met with Westwood to discuss city opportunity to utilize clean and drinking water revolving funds. Also, the City Council will consider allocating funds for applying for the clean and drinking water state food revolving fund program during the January 16, 2000 council meeting. Adding space for staff growth, still looking for grant funding for this project. Thank you.
Okay, I am tasked with the Enhanced Civic Pride. The update that we have for establishment and host festivals and trade days, farmers markets, we are still continuing to work on bringing smaller engaging events through partnership. As you noticed last year, we had partnered with Texas Parks and Wildlife to do a hunter's ed class. We also have partnered with the, coming for February, we're partnered with AARP to offer free tax services for our citizens. And that would be, that's actually free for all citizens. So we did get that pushed out this week. So a lot of our enhancing as far as activities and events going on, we're looking more so on the partnerships that we can build and building those rapport due to just our funding as well on doing bigger events. Also, we have the Martin Luther King Jr. short essay contest that we put out. What dream do you have for Cleveland, Texas? That actually was something that was kind of like kind of a spare of the moment type of thing, but it actually turned out to be very successful. We had over 30 essays that were turned in. Due to the weather, we haven't announced it, but we are announcing those tomorrow of the essay winner contest. We're picking the top 3 of those essays. And I do want to bring those back to our next city council and just read those for city council just to kind of know, because these are kids from elementary all the way to middle school. And the things that they talk about, the things that they seek is also, it's kind of, you think about the kids, but they're also like many adults because they're thinking about the same things that we're thinking about. They have a vision for Cleveland as well. So definitely think that it was, like I said, something that was kind of the spur of the moment, and it actually turned out very successful. We had submitted that also through Cleveland ISD, and they shot those out to each campus and put those out to all the principals. So we did have kids that participated in that.
What does the winner receive?
The winners receive, so they are getting a City of Cleveland mug. They have a speaker, like a portable speaker that they'll get. It's actually like just a bag of a lot of good stuff. They also get like a planner that kind of, it says, yes, you can on the front of that planner. And it has like our logo on there, and it just allows for them to kind of do creative writing and just encouraging them to pretty much keep going. So it has all different types of stuff in there that has our logo on there for advertising as well. But we picked the top 3, and they'll all get that little bag. So we are also continuing when it comes to our establishing and hosting festivals as well. Pretty much the same events that we've been doing. We always go into it wanting to do bigger and better. Again, it's always based on our budget. And determine the budget for the events. That is something that we have always done, but I'm going to be a little bit more strategic this year, and a little bit more kind of planning out things when it comes to our budget for each event. I always feel like we go into it and we don't really know what the expenses are until we get into them, but the last couple of years we've noticed that some things have started to increase. And a lot of times with that increase means we need to increase our budget. So we are going to be keeping up with a more strategic binder per each event that we are actually doing. So we also have reactivate the beautification committee. Danielle and I both have talked about implementing a beautification campaign, should I say. That campaign we thought would kind of, and we've been throwing ideas back and forth with each other, but trying to get our downtown area, just the facade of things. A lot of the buildings we've kind of noticed, they kind of look tired, should I say. And so one of the biggest things is maybe bringing back how I think the Keep Cleveland Beautiful used to have. Yard of the month, business of the month, and starting there. So we did talk about doing those type of things and recognizing those businesses. I think once you start, it kind of trickles down, just like how Tom Johnson kind of spruced up his corner. I think it kind of allowed for some of the other ones to kind of be, kind of step into that. I know we have the dental office that's right down the street by the bank. So they kind of went into that same line of wanting to jump on the bandwagon of sprucing up downtown. So that is one idea that we've talked about, bringing back that. And then also working with our chamber on more projects that we can kind of implement on the business side on how we can spruce up Cleveland. The other thing, working with CISD, I have put out to, I don't know if y'all know Christy Jones. She is now the director over arts. And so that arts is pertaining to everything that kind of falls up under the art program and arts and things like that. So we've both kind of been talking back and forth. I think utilizing our kids in the middle school as well as the high school art programs, that would also help us to sprucing up downtown. A lot of those kids need volunteer hours. We have areas, should I say, that can be identified, and those kids, I think, would be willing to work alongside the city in making kind of sprucing up things again. Whether it's putting planters downtown and you have those kids keeping up with the planters. It could be fake plants that we're putting in there, but those planters would be downtown and it just makes it a little bit more lively. And I know we've had planters downtown before. So that's another thing that we're working on to identify areas. Same thing with Campbell Park. When we did Campbell Park, we had the high school kids actually do the mural at Campbell Park, and that actually turned out very nice with the train. So that's another area that the art students could help us out with. And last, we have Clean Up Cleveland. So Clean Up Cleveland is scheduled for April the 29th this year. With Clean Up Cleveland, again, my goal is to always try to bring something bigger and better to each event each year, depending on our budget. I am looking into possibly working with, or trying to see about if we could have tire haul off, if we can have shredding going on. So those are things that we've never really had before, other than our public works guys hauling off the tires that are usually brought in. But we need to work with the company as far as, because there's a lot of citizens that also have tires that are just sitting in their yards and things like that. So we need to be able to have someone that would come in and take those tires away. And then I've also gotten a call from a citizen who actually asked for the shredding, if we would have shredding. And I know Angela, in the past, had kind of worked on having a shredding truck here. So I want to also bring that back. Other than that, any questions? Yes, sir.
On the cleaning up Cleveland, on the 24th of April, what time does that normally start?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, it's on a Saturday.
It's the 27th. Last year was the 29th.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, it's the 27th, yes. I'm sorry, it's a typo.
Was it 9 o'clock? Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's usually from like 9 to 1. We usually partner with HEB on providing hot dogs and things like that. And then also I just got my Keep Texas, the email that they normally send out from Keep Texas Beautiful and the Don't Mess with Texas to fill out for their grant on getting some of the cleaning items.
I approached Lieutenant Cruz and Marine Bridge at one of the case management.
This morning, yes, sir. They were there. And I think that was Public Works. Yes, sir.
I didn't see Roger.
That's not my department.
Good job.
Is there anything else?
No.
Thank you.
So that was the update for our strategic plan. As you can see, they have accomplished, the staff has accomplished quite a bit over the last 3 months going towards the strategic plan. And so we will continue to do that. Our next one will be in April.
Okay. Okay, we'll move along to item number 27, adopt mission and vision statements.
Any of you bring that presentation up?
Yes, sir.
While she's doing that, I just want to again thank the committee that's worked on this, Mary, Angela, and Alice have all worked really hard on this to get us through this in drafting and creating the draft for both the vision and mission statement. And so we'll be going through that. Oh, don't have that. Okay. It's in your packets. So, again, we do have, if you remember, we utilized the strategic plan. And when we did the strategic plan, the council came up with the key elements for the core culture and values. And since we don't have them up there, I will go ahead and read them, which was just real simple. Be inclusive, be unified, be family friendly, be involved, be caring, be trustworthy, have integrity and honesty, and be supportive. And that was our core culture and values. This is what we said is who we are. And so then we also adopted key elements for a vision statement while we were doing the strategic plan. And this is what we said, this is where we want to go. This is where we're headed, where we're going. And those items were a city of diversity in people and opportunity, an excellent quality of life, amenities and parks, a safe city where our children want to play, with ample job opportunities, with excellent infrastructure, utilities, streets, connectivity, walkability, quality educational opportunities, and quality health care. And those were our elements of the vision statement. Then, During our workshop on November 21st, the council approved or agreed to the vision statement, which is again where we are going. And so that draft that we approved was the vision of Cleveland is to be a family-friendly, inclusive, and vibrant community that is safe. A culturally diverse city where families thrive for generations, fostering economic growth, excellent quality of life with educational opportunities, healthcare, and amenities, while preserving our rich history and natural resources. And then the following month, in December, we went over our key elements that were in the strategic plan, and this is how we're going to get to where our vision is, and that's to be a good steward of the city's resources, to have a good financial strategy, set priorities, keep our history before us, acknowledge our diversity, be forward-thinking, communicate with our citizens, be transparent, be innovative, and to have clear codes and ordinances. And then last month, on December 14th, we approved the draft during the workshop. And the mission statement that we approved is the mission of Cleveland is to set clear priorities that align with our vision statement. The city, ensuring the long-term sustainability of our community, will be good stewards of our resources and implement sound financial strategies. We recognize and embrace the diversity within our community and endeavor to build an inclusive environment that values different perspectives, promoting a forward-thinking and innovative culture that fosters creativity and efficient solutions. The city is dedicated to transparency and to openly communicate with our stakeholders in a timely, effective manner. And so tonight, you have the opportunity to officially adopt these two statements and to become our vision and mission statement. Once they are adopted, then over the next couple of months, our departments will begin to work on drafting their own mission statements for their department that will tie back to both our mission statement and our vision for the city. And then in April, the plan is to come back to City Council and present those departmental mission statements to you that tie back those department missions to our strategic plan and our vision and mission statement. And so with that, do you have any questions or?
Okay, there are no other questions about the mission and vision statements. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion on the mission and vision statements that we adopted.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Lowry, a second by Mr. Ward. Any question, comment? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, motion carries 4-0. Okay, we will now convene into executive session. The City of Cleveland reserves the right to adjourn into executive session at any time during this meeting to discuss any item on the agenda authorized by Texas Government Code 551071, consultation with attorneys, deliberations about real property, deliberations about gift donations, personnel matters, security devices, or economic development. We will now go into executive session at 7:35.
I clicked on executive session right here, and it pulls it up here, and then you just transition to it.
And then usually what I'll do is I'll turn off this mic back here, and then just when they start coming back in, I'll turn it back on.
Can I just hear? Why can't you just mute?
Yeah, you can. And then just unmute them whenever everybody comes back in.
Sit back down.
Start.
I already did.
Okay. Currently, I mean, 16 people were just surfing. And this thing
Yeah, that's what I would do.
That's what I would do too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All their mics on up front.
Mm-hmm.
It has not been called to order, Mr. Lowry. We have not been called to order.
I think y'all are out of order.
What's our principal?
At the illusion.
That sounds about right.
You can. Or you can go ahead, it's up to you. Motion, so, if you got it right here.
Okay, we'll now convene back into regular session. Do I have a motion to discuss the issue in executive session?
Yes, I make a motion that we reapprove, Judge Allen and Associate.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Ward. I have a second by Mr. Lowry. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 4-0.